Hey class, and welcome to my sample speech video in Com 100. I'm your professor, Ken Newhouse. You guys have a couple of options, and first I got to apologize about the terrible lighting in my room. It's absolutely atrocious, and I have just my lamp just like shining on me right now. So, couple things. You guys are transitioning right now. You're getting into that week 3, week 4 routine, module 3 and 4. We're having a really fast-paced summer, okay? You guys have already gone over perception. You've already gone over intercultural communication. You've already gone over verbal and nonverbal communication. And now we're moving into the public speaking unit, which is transitioning to your speech in module 4. You have two options here, okay? Number one, you can do a live speech with me via FaceTime or over Google Meets. Two, you can record a YouTube video, and you have to do that in front of 3 people, okay? You got to record the YouTube video in front of 3 people just so you have an audience, because this is a speech. And what I'm going to ask you to do, a few of my students have done both options, but a lot of them actually like the face-to-face interaction, excuse me, that I have with the students. And it's a little less scary, I would say, doing it in front of just myself, me listening to the speech, compared to 3 friends or family members. Now, this is a persuasive speech. You can choose whatever topic you want. I am not going to determine what you guys pick and choose, okay? It needs to be a 5 to 9 minute speech over something that you like talking about. Try to persuade me on something. So this speech I'm giving you guys is over sales tax, okay? I despise sales tax. This is the only thing political you're going to see from me this entire summer. Now, I've given this speech over and over and over again to the classes that I've had in the past, for the past year and a half here at Jefferson College. You guys are allowed to have notes, you're allowed to have a PowerPoint, whatever you'd like. I'm not showing you the PowerPoint right now because, actually it's not a PowerPoint, I just have my stuff typed out on a Word document because I know exactly what I'm talking about. So here's what I'm looking for in your speech. We talked about this in chapters 3, 4, and 5, specifically, chapters 11 through 15. Specifically, there's a difference between a subject and a topic, okay? A subject is a broad area, okay? That's sales tax. That's, what am I going to be talking about in sales tax? Oh, I don't know, how much we pay, so on and so forth, what states have sales tax, what states don't. Yeah, that's a subject. I'm going to be narrowing it down to a topic, okay, over a 5 to 9 minute period. And I'm going to be talking about why sales taxes should be reduced and or eliminated here in Missouri. And I'll give you just a few examples of why I believe that personally. Now, you got to narrow it down. Have it narrowed. Have a few bullet points in your objective section, okay? I have 3 different objectives, and that's kind of a lot. Try to narrow it down to 1 or 2 for your 5 to 9 minute speech. But I have 3, okay? My objectives are to tell you that there are a certain amount of states that don't have sales tax, to tell you about my organization that I started to eliminate sales tax and fight sales tax increases, and lastly, why sales taxes should be eliminated. Okay, I'm going to be looking for a lot of things when you guys are giving your speech, okay? I'm going to be looking at posture, okay, right? Have really good posture. I'm going to ask for eye contact, especially with me through your speech. I want you to stand up. You need to stand up and give your speech. You can't just sit there and be like, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'm giving a speech to Professor Newhouse today. Don't do that. Be energetic like me. You got to be excited about giving your speech because this is something you are passionate about, all right? Unfortunately, this isn't face-to-face. I despise teaching communication online, okay? I love my job, but this communication needs to be face-to-face, okay? Now, you guys are going to have some verbal fillers. Try to avoid that. I have said some verbal fillers in this speech. Just in the first 4 minutes of doing this video, I have said okay several times. That is a verbal filler. I ask that you avoid like, just like I just said there. Try to avoid those verbal fillers. Help yourself transition by thinking your sentence out. I know it's hard to do during a speech, especially 5 to 9 minutes, but you can do it, okay? I just did it again. Okay, that's another verbal filler. That's a big verbal filler problem I have, but I gotta let you know, I hate the phrase, you know. It is the worst verbal filler out there. Now, I'm going to get into my speech. This is verbal communication. I'm communicating with you guys, okay? Again, did it again. 5 to 9 minutes, persuasive, introduce your objective, introduce yourself. I've never met any of you. Actually, I've met one of you who have been my student in the past in my public speaking class. So, Andrew, you better do good. This is for you, okay? You know I've given this speech to you before, so make sure you do well. All right, sorry for singling you out. Now, I'm going to be giving my speech. I'm not going to stop in the middle of it and be like, this is how you do this is how you don't do this. All right? I'm going to be giving my speech here in just a second. I gotta make sure I have everything, and I'm ready to go. Now, I'm going to introduce myself just like I'm a student, a fellow student of you guys', and then just say my name, so on and so forth. Pay attention to how I give my speech, all right? I think you guys might like this, even though politics are boring to talk about. All right, here we go. And you guys can look at your PowerPoints and pause for a second if you need to, or look at your note cards, or take a short pause just to look down. I'm not going to take points away. Make sure you have eye contact. I'm paying attention to that. All right. Hello, everyone. I am Ken Newhouse. Today I will be talking about sales tax, the good. Actually, there's nothing good about it. It's called sales tax, the bad and the ugly. Now, why do I hate sales tax? Sales taxes are regressive. They harm the poor and middle class most in our society, meaning that people who are in the bottom income brackets, here in Missouri, for example, the bottom 20% of income earners pay roughly 5.9% of their annual income. People making less than $20,000 on an annual basis pay almost 6% of their annual income in sales tax. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that people don't have. And so I'm going to be telling you today why we should be getting rid of sales tax. I'm going to be telling you about my organization. I'm going to be telling you about why sales tax should be eliminated, and then I'm going to be telling you about sales tax rates in Missouri. All right? Now, in 2013, myself and my friend Mr. Lloyd Sloan co-founded an organization here in Missouri called No Mo Sales Tax. Kind of cool, right? I came up with the name. Sorry, Lloyd. Now, No Mo Sales Tax means no Missouri sales tax. We are an organization dedicated to eliminating or even reducing and fighting tax increases across the state. In 2014, we collected over $5,000 and battled and defeated the single largest tax increase in Missouri's history, which was Amendment 7. Amendment 7 was a sales tax, 0.75% sales tax increase that would have gone on to goods here in Missouri. So let's just say you purchased a piece of clothing like this fancy Battlehawk shirt. Yes, they will be back. Count on that. 2022, hopefully. Maybe next year, you never know. But a piece of clothing, why on earth should I be paying an extra 0.75% when I don't have a lot of money, especially as a college student? You guys don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money. But why should I be paying that extra money when the big truckers and other people who are using the roads where this money is going to be going, why should I have to pay for that? Why shouldn't the big trucker who's destroying our roads have to pay for that? Now, sales taxes, again, are regressive. They harm the poor and middle class the most. According to the Institution on Taxation and Economic Policy, 5.9% of their annual income goes towards sales tax. It's really sad. There are 5 states right now that do not have sales tax. Off the top of my head, they are Delaware, Alaska, Montana, New Hampshire, and my favorite state of all, Oregon. I'm traveling to Oregon later this summer, and I cannot wait to purchase some goods when I'm up there and bringing them back with me in my super overstuffed suitcase. So I usually buy a lot of my clothing when I'm shopping up in Oregon, when I'm traveling up there, pay absolutely no sales tax on it. It's fantastic. I absolutely just love it. Now, with these states, they actually rank in the top 10 nationwide, according to Forbes, in economic growth. You hear politicians all the time talking about gross domestic product and economic growth and how this is the most important thing on the planet. But it's kind of cool. These states rank in the top 10, all 5 of them, for economic growth. Yeah, we don't like paying income taxes. Yeah, we don't like paying property taxes, but sales taxes, it makes it a more even playing field for the consumer. Okay, especially for those people at the bottom. Now, how can we fiscally responsibly lower sales tax in Missouri? Now, earlier this year, before the COVID-19 pandemic struck, Lloyd and I were actually at the Missouri legislature, and our good friend, Representative Dottie Bailey out of Eureka, District 110, I believe, sponsored a sales tax reduction for us. It was a 0.5% sales tax reduction over a period of 5 years. It would have cost roughly $400 million to implement, and we made a decent attempt to make sure it was revenue neutral so the state of Missouri didn't lose any sort of funding. Now, we had some triggers in place with this bill. We could have modified it later on. Sorry for being so technical, but the trigger would have been like this. So the sales tax reduction each year cost about $75 million. If the state of Missouri, the 3 previous fiscal years, had collected $75 million or more in excess revenue, then the sales tax rate could have gone down. But let's just say 1 year out of those 3 previous fiscal years, let's just say 1 year there was $150 million in excess revenue. The next year had $62 million, and the year after that had $200 million in excess revenue. That couldn't work because it has to be the 3 previous fiscal years. Every single year prior had to have the $75 million in excess revenue. Now, we also could have targeted the $500 million in tax credits that Missouri gives out on an annual basis. That is insanity. Why should large corporations and the rich be getting a ton of money in taxpayer dollars and the people at the bottom are paying too much out of their pocket? Now, you may not believe this, but the city of St. Louis has the single highest sales tax rate in the nation combined. You go downtown, right around SLU, you pay almost 12 to 13% on a cup of Starbucks coffee. That is absolutely ridiculous. Think about it as a college student. You go out and try to buy a $5,000 car, and you have to pay 13% sales tax if you live in the city of St. Louis. What is that, an extra $600+? You don't have that money. No one does. How on earth can you afford an extra $600 in sales tax when you probably need that money for books, gas, and a bunch of other stuff? Now, we don't have a singular solution to ending sales tax in Missouri or even getting rid of it. This is a piecemeal thing that we've been working on for the last 6 years. I want to eliminate sales tax. I think it's regressive and harmful. Actually, it is regressive, and I think it's super harmful, especially to college students like you. Now, I may not have convinced all of you in this short speech, but I hope that you guys consider that sales tax are terrible, a terrible form of tax that you pay. You may not notice it every time you go do something. Oh, I paid 30 cents here, 20 cents here, $1 here, okay? But it adds up. It adds up every single time you spend money. Just pay attention to that. Again, my name is Ken Newhouse. Thank you so much for listening. All right, now, I'm going to take a seat here. Guys, that was roughly, I don't know, probably 6-7 minutes of a speech. I'm going to lower this so it doesn't look like I'm being interrogated by a police officer. So, I showed what I thought was enthusiasm. I maintained good eye contact. I maintained composure throughout the speech. Listen, I do this for a living. I have recorded, I'm already 13 minutes into this video. Again, I'm terribly sorry about this light. But this is my only take that I have done on this video. I have not done a second take. This is a long video. I know you might not all look through this video, but it's okay. It's all right. I hope you guys get a little bit of a better understanding of what I'm expecting. Remember, 5 to 9 minutes for your speech. Be enthusiastic. Have your stuff ready. You guys are welcome to look down at your notes like I did, or even have note cards in front of you. That's okay, but try to maintain a good bit of eye contact when you're either speaking to me or recording your video and putting it on YouTube. Now, have a good night, everyone. I hope that this prepares you a little bit for your speech. I will be putting your guidelines. This is 100 points, and you gotta pass this. If you fail this speech, I don't think any of you will, but if you fail this speech, you fail the class. Department policy. So, thank you for listening tonight, and I'll see you guys soon.